population after the white community. Okay, now from them there was a report in 2010 called Family Matters, where in London, they interviewed the people from the South Asian community. Now these are the things that they came out with, because and the people they interviewed were Muslims and Hindus and Sikhs. Okay, now there were 6 main points that they came out with. One was shame, fear and secrecy around mental illness. People were shamed about it. People didn't want anyone to know about it. People, thought that the family's reputation will be destroyed if anyone found out that my son's got mental health illness. Okay, this is what they found when they interviewed people. Number 2 was the causes of mental health that we talked about earlier. They don't believe that mental health could be genetic, could be because of trauma, it could be because of, when someone is born, it could be because of an event that's happened in their life. What the conclusion the South Asian people community was coming out with, it was due to demon, it was due to the devil, it was due to reason that they thought that was the reason why these things were happening. And actually there are 4 reasons: the will of God, genetic, bad parenting, or black magic. These are the 4 reasons that they thought that mental health reasons occur. Okay, and the other thing that came out with this was that that the family can be protective, but it can be part of the problem as well. Okay, that they found out that when it comes to in the South Asian community, is that
these are statistics that you're giving.
This is not personal opinion. This is a report that happened in 2010. Right. Okay, when they interviewed.
I mean, it's a bit.
Still, and that was 2010. So that just tells you, what it could be now. It could be slightly better, but we all speak to people from our Asian community, and unfortunately, this kind of mindset, it does still occur. Yeah. Now, the other thing that came out was that the women, because a lot of them are dependent on male support, and now when the head of the house has no understanding of mental health, and they feel you don't need to see a GP, your anxiety is okay. Okay, so these were the kind of comments that we made. Social pressure to conform. It's important for you to be married. It's important for you to have a degree. So it's important to have all these kind of things. And as soon as mental health was mentioned, if someone's got mental health, how is he going to get married? What are we going to do with our daughter? What are we going to do with our son? Who is going to ask for their hand?
Because it's totally seen in a different light. For instance, if you, I mean, you can correct me on this. How is mental health perceived in other communities compared to how it's perceived in ours?
So really good question. And these things that I've mentioned, some of these things might not be in other communities, but like this next point I'm going to mention, that people with mental health problems are not valued equal. That happens in all communities. Okay, discrimination happens in all communities. When it happens to, let's say, the white community, or not the South Asian community, there you've got lack of education. There you've got this kind of male dominant culture that this man can't have any kind of emotion. Okay, where people discriminate against someone because of their mental health, where people have no understanding of mental health, when people think that you can snap out of it, when people don't understand that when someone hasn't gone out with you for like a meal out, is because he might have social anxiety, he might have low self-esteem, he might have X, Y, Z. But within the Asian community, it's different in terms of how they perceive the whole concept of mental health. They don't feel it, a lot of them don't feel it exists. And one point I want to mention here is some people, from that I know, this is not having a go at anyone, from some of the Muslim community, and I'm sure people from other communities, other religions have the same kind of people like this, and this is where they have a physical health problem. What do they do, Saf? They go to the doctor. They got heart problems, they go to 499, or they go to A&E. But when someone tells them someone's got mental health illness, what do they say to them? Brother, read the Quran. Brother, make dua. Pray to the Almighty. Okay?
Go to so-and-so.
Yeah. Go and see a certain scholar. So this, again, is a lack of education. Your physical health is more superior than your mental health. So if you are saying to someone when they've got mental health, go and read the Quran, why don't you do that when you've got heart problems? Why don't you do that when you've got a headache? Why don't you do that when you've got other physical health problems? So physical health is... Now, just one other point I want to mention is, If your physical health is suffering, guess what? It's going to affect your mental health. If your mental health is suffering, guess what? It's going to affect your physical health. You got anxiety, you can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't work, you can't function. You got physical health, you're going to worry, you're going to stress, you're going to be anxious, you're going to have low self-esteem, you're going to have low mood, you're going to have low self-worth, you're going to have suicidal thoughts, etc., etc., etc. So your physical effect affects your mental health. Your mental effect affects your physical health. So this is what people need to kind of understand. It's not rocket science, okay? I'm not saying this because, you know, I'm a counsellor. You're not a counsellor, and I'm sure you understand that, yeah? Physical health affects your mental health. Your mental health affects your physical health. So which is more important, okay? They're both as important as each other. You can't survive with either one of them. You could have fantastic mental health and your physical health is suffering. It's going to help you because sooner or later it's going to start affecting your mental health. Okay, so within the Asian community, and I think the issue is that there's a taboo. People don't talk about it. So the message is, whether it's in the mosque, the temple, the synagogue, whether it's, you know, in anywhere, yeah, mental health needs to be talked about. Mental health should be part of your daily life. Mental health should be educated. There should be seminars, there should be workshops. The scholar, the priest, whoever you have in your place of worship should be talking about mental health.
And it shouldn't be seen as look, if you've got mental health, you're mental.
Yeah,
if
what people
you're
think,
mental-
Safi, is they probably think that they're going to go into a mental institute. So that's again, see, that is different. That is when someone has psychosis, they have hallucinations, they've got delusion, they hear things, they see things, and they're out of their control. Now, like I said, that could be signs of schizophrenia, but then 1 in 100 people have it. Most people don't. So most people don't go to a mental health institute. Most people see a GP or see a counsellor, and they work, and the person you see serving you at a takeaway, the football coach, the person who's basically the ice cream man guy, even your GP or even your IT guy, they might all be having some mental health illness, but they're getting on with their lives. They're coping.
But I think what my point was that